Good afternoon, my name's Chris Fuller. I'm the Head of Biology at Hayesfield. I'm also the trip lead for the Nettlecombe 2024 trip. Thank you for listening. I'm just going to quickly run through a couple of key points regarding the field trip, which is obviously going out next week. I have met with pretty much all of the students at lunchtime earlier on today and gone through several of the same messages. So this is really just so that you and they are on exactly the same page, and you're kind of aware of the things that they will need for the trip itself. If you have any questions or queries at the end, my email address will pop up a couple of times through the talk. It's c.fuller@hayesfield.com. Please do get in touch. Alternatively, just ping an email to admin@hayesfield and they will pass it on to me. There. So, a couple of key details. We'd like all the students to arrive at the nucleus for about 8:30 on Monday morning. We'll be letting the year 7s, 8s and 9s leave the site first, and then we will follow on afterwards for our trip. The details for the field centre are there. There's the address and the telephone number for the field centre if you do need it for any reason. And also our return details as well. So we will be back in school by 3:15 on the Wednesday. The bus will be picking us up at about 12:30. And so even with terrible traffic, there should be no reason why we're later than that on the way home. There's a map there as well, so you get an idea of where we're going to. So Nettlecombe is actually in the bottom left-hand corner. That's where the field centre is, down in Somerset. And on Tuesday we'll be going to two other locations. We're going to West Quantock's Head and then over to Helwell Bay, which is next to Watchet as well. So those are there. In terms of kind of contact details, obviously you're able to contact your son or daughter using their mobile phone. There's good reception in most locations. It's a bit patchy in certain areas of the field centre sometimes, but if they kind of go and find a slightly different place to stand, they'll be able to pick up messages and so on. The only thing I would ask is that if there is anything that you would categorise as an emergency or some any troubling news or anything that you think will cause your son or daughter any distress to receive, please could you get in touch via the school office rather than directly contacting them. If you get in touch via the school office, and they will then get in touch with me, and then I will be able to effectively support your daughter or son. So if you could do that rather than contacting them directly, that would be very much appreciated, please. Thank you ever so much. I think everybody has now filled out the medication, dietary and emergency contact details form. Obviously, your son and daughter is now in year 12, going into year 13. They should be fully capable of packing their own bag and checking they've got everything. But please, could I just ask that you check that they have any medication that they need? It's the one thing that we can't really replace on the day. And they will obviously need enough for the duration of the visit. If anything's changed in terms of emergency contact details or medication since you filled out that form, please could you let me know. Like I said, my email address is up on the screen now. In addition, the journey to the field centre is about 2 hours in a coach, and for part of the journey we will be on some quite windy country roads. So if you know that your son or daughter does get travel sick, please encourage them to bring some appropriate travel sickness medication. They'll need some for the way there, for the way back, and then also we'll be using coaches to get between the different sites on the Tuesday as well. Equipment wise, kind of the first thing is that they will need to bring their own packed lunch. So they will need to make their own or go and purchase their own packed lunch on the Monday. That won't be provided by the centre. It will be provided at lunch, and all the other meals will be provided while we're there, but just not the lunch on the Monday. Secondly is on the day we're going to be out regardless of the weather. In some years we have glorious sunshines, some years it doesn't seem to stop raining. This year the long range weather forecast is a bit mixed, so it's down the bottom. It's going to be reasonably warm, 18-20 degrees, but we're likely to get some rain on the Monday, Tuesday and the Wednesday. So as a result, they're going to need the full mix of all-weather gear, really. They're going to need a waterproof coat and waterproof trousers. They're going to need some high SPF sun cream, and they will need a hat. We are going to be out all day, particularly on the Tuesday, and there is going to be very little to no shelter on the Tuesday as well. We're either going to be up on the hills or we're going to be on the rocky shore. So very little shelter indeed, very little shade. They will need a large water bottle. I would recommend at least one 1 litre water bottle. There will be opportunities obviously to fill that up, but that's kind of the minimum that they will need between locations, particularly on that Tuesday. And they're going to need some spare clothes, particularly socks. They have a tendency particularly on that first day, to let too much water overfill their wellies when we're going kick sampling, and so some spare socks for them would be very, very useful. So again, they've been told all of this. Please just remind them that when they are packing their own bag, these are some of the things they should really be considering. Other equipment wise, they will need a pair of wellies. Like I said, we're going to be kick sampling in a very small, shallow stream on the Monday afternoon, but they will need wellies. If they don't have wellies of their own, the Field Study Centre does have some that can be hired, but we are not going to be the only school on site, and therefore there may be some limitations in the amount of particular sizes that they're able to hire out on the day. So yeah, if they have their own, that's perfect. If not, it might be worth asking friends or family if there's a pair that they could borrow. Other than that, they are going to need some strong footwear for the day, when we're going between sites and getting to certain locations on the field trip. So hiking boots or walking shoes would be ideal. Strong trainers are absolutely fine. Basically anything that's got a bit of cushioning, that's got a reasonably strong heel and sides, and isn't going to allow their foot to roll too much in it. They can bring whatever comfortable footwear they like for the evenings, but they will need wellies and some strong footwear for during the day. Overnight, they're going to be in shared dorms with other members of their class, so they will need their own towel, they'll need their own personal care equipment. We have talked to the students about the fact that they need to be responsible for anything that they bring, and maybe to limit the bits that they bring, or potentially consider sharing with some kind of kit if they want to straighteners or anything like that. And they should also obviously bring appropriate nightwear, considering they're sharing a dormitory with other students. In terms of clothing on fieldwork, we talked about recommending light trousers and really advising against jeans. They're more than welcome to bring jeans if that's what they want to wear when they're in the field centre in the evening and in the morning, but jeans have a tendency to get wet and stay wet for a prolonged period of time and aren't very comfortable at all when that happens. So we've suggested light trousers or leggings or jogging bottoms, something that will dry relatively quickly. And as well, because the weather is going to be quite changeable, layers are ideal. It's probably going to be reasonably cool in the morning when we set off, and then be very, very warm by the time we're heading home in the late afternoon, early evening. And because of the weather, spares are highly, highly recommended. Stationery wise, pen, pencil, calculator. Those are the things they're definitely going to need, and they should bring a rucksack. Again, they've been told all of this, but just to reiterate to you, so that if you're going to see them heading off without a rucksack, could you just remind them, please? They have had this kit list, but again, the kit list went out on an email a couple of months ago, but if that's now lost, your son or daughter does have access to it on the Google Classroom. And if for whatever reason they can't get onto it on the Google Classroom and you no longer have that email, again, please do drop me an email and I will send it along as well. And we will be reminding the students of all of these things in lessons.